this muzzleloader deer hunt. We're watching two coyotes. They'd have to get way closer to try and shoot them with an open sight muzzleloader, but one of them's working this way. We've seen about 11 deer, but they were way far away. Couldn't even tell if they were does or bucks. Well, we could tell that 3 of them for sure were does. But we're going to hunt this spot for probably another hour or two. Then we kind of have a hunting hole spot on some private land that a buddy let us hunt. That's where we're going for the evening hunt. Sorry for the whisper. Well, we're going to start making our way back down to the truck. So we saw 13 deer this morning and 2 coyotes and a bunch of chuckers. So that's the end of the morning hunt. It's going to be hot today. So we're going to head back down the truck. We got about a hour and 45-minute to 2-hour drive to where we're going to hunt for the evening. But there's a couple other little pockets we're going to stop at as well. So anyway, that's what we're doing. I'm rocking the New View hunting pants today. They're a little warm. I mean, it's not their fault. I just wanted to try them out today, but it's gonna be a little hot for these. I'm not wearing a base layer underneath them. I knew it'd be warm. They're comfortable, they're quiet. We walk through a lot of sagebrush and they're quiet. They've got side pocket that's a perfect fit for my phone. Both the front pockets, zipper. So far I'm a big fan. Again, it's just a little warm for them today. But I've got an elk hunt coming up in a couple weeks where it'll be cooler, and we'll definitely try them out on that too. All right, we made our gas and drink stop. So fresh Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew for Caleb. I'm sporting pepperoni pizza. Caleb went with the chicken bacon ranch sandwich down there by his feet. So that's what we got going on. So we're gonna eat this on the way and head to our next spot. Well, stop number 2. The property we're gonna hunt isn't really good till about 3:30. So when the deer start coming through, and we don't want to just sit around for a few hours, so we want to see some new country. So we're in the same general area, and gonna put a little hike on, see if we can find anything. Posted up for the magic hour. Although we got here way early. We still have time for the sun to go down behind the mountain. Here's what we're going to be hunting for the last couple hours of the day. Well, everybody, that's the last day of the 2024 Utah muzzleloader deer hunt. We're out on a piece of property that a friend of ours from church gave us permission to hunt. And here's the bait, so to speak. These hay fields and alfalfa fields. This is where all the deer are headed every night. So behind me is where we'll be posted up to hunt. We came out here last week. There's some previous footage on this video. And we were supposed to be the only ones out here. My friend thought we were going to be the only ones out here, but another group of hunters came in right at the magic hour. Literally as soon as Caleb and I saw the first 2 deer coming over the mountain, a group of 4 guys walked up in, and I just don't think they've hunted it before, at least not with the family who owns the property, because they didn't hunt it like they hunt it. So they sat right up where all the deer come down, and instead of the deer funneling through this piece of property, they all got bumped to the 2 ranches on either side, which we do not have permission to hunt. So we should be the only ones here tonight. We'll definitely see deer. Even with that, last time Caleb and I came out here, I probably saw 70 deer altogether. 50 for sure. 70 might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but I think probably 70. I have been out here before where I've seen over 100 in a single night. We'll see. So thanks for coming along. I know this is going to be shaky because I've got it on max zoom. The deer already coming out into the hay fields. Caleb and I have seen probably 50 or 60 already. But they're coming from the wrong way, so let's go head off some that we can shoot.
It didn't make like an adrenaline.
Well, guys, we're back to the truck. Taking that walk of shame, unfortunately. I feel bad for Caleb. We couldn't find any blood anywhere. I mean, we gridded that thing. He and I walked about 3 yards apart all around that hillside. So I'd love to say, well, maybe he just missed it cleanly, but I saw the leg flop. I know he hit it in the leg, which sucks. So anyway, that's the end of his hunt. I mean, that's a lesson we all have to learn, and I'm sure we'll both be replaying this 20 times if we could have done it different. The shot was only 110 yards. It was not a long shot. He was prone. He had a good rest under the muzzle loader. I don't know what happened. So anyway, thanks so much for coming along. We'll do the Minute on the Mountain and stuff when I've got some daylight for you. Time to wrap up the video with the channel shout out and the Minute on the Mountain. You know, I debated whether or not to even post this video because it's always frustrating when you wound an animal and you can't recover it. And nobody was feeling more upset about it than Caleb. But I just wanted to continue to be honest. I mean, sometimes that's what hunting is. Now, sometimes, you know, you wound an animal because you take a shot you shouldn't take. You're not prepared. You know, you've got an animal that's on the run and you probably shouldn't. None of those things happen. You know, the deer was stopped. The deer wasn't completely broadside. He was kind of quartering towards us, about halfway between a quartering and a broadside shot. 110 yards, and Caleb was laying down prone. He had the gun laying on his backpack, a good rest, and he just pulled it. I think just pulled it. He shot to the right and low of where he was aiming. I had a little footage of of him shooting, but it wasn't good. It was basically all you could see was his shoulder, and you could hear the gun go off. I didn't even include that. You know, again, when I'm hunting with my kids, I'm way more important about trying to track. So I had the buck in my binoculars. I saw him hit it. I saw the buck lurch, and I thought it was a good shot at first. And then he turned and wheeled and ran. He went over a rise, and I told Caleb, you reload. I'm just going to keep focused up on the hillside so we can see where he comes out. And I never saw him come out. We just never saw the buck come out. He didn't follow the other does that were with him. So we waited. We honestly thought we were going to go over that little rise and he was going to be dead there, but he wasn't. And we couldn't find any blood. I think what he did is he dropped down, which would have been to our right, and then went over the fence to the other property. And again, we don't have the permission to hunt those other properties. So we spent an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, gridding the area where he shot him, you know, literally a foot at a time, looking for blood, looking for drops of blood. Couldn't find any. I would love to say I know he missed, but I just know he didn't. I saw the way the deer was running. I saw his leg flop. I know he hit him in the leg. Anyway, that's just part of it. I'm sure a lot of guys, you know, will critique this. And all I can say is, if you've ever been out there for any number of years, you know sometimes it happens. So, and I just want to be honest. All right, channel shout out is Hiking Outdoor Family. I just watched a really cool video of them where they were in Great Basin National Park, which is in Nevada. So I'll put a link in the description. Check those guys out when you get some time. A lot of great hiking videos, some kayaking videos. I think you'll really like the stuff that they put out. The Minute on the Mount today is coming from the book of Acts. We've been preaching through the book of Acts in church for a while now, so I just want to pull this up. It is from Acts chapter 9, and it's about Saul's conversion. You know, Saul is on his way to Damascus. He's blinded by this light. The Lord speaks to him. Jesus speaks to him and says, Saul, why are you persecuting me? But one of the things that really stood out at me this time, I've seen it before, but for whatever reason, it just really stood out to me, is that in verse 6, well, I'll back up. Verse 5, Saul says, who are you, Lord? And then Jesus responds, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting, he replied. Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. I find it interesting, and I find it very relatable to my life that Jesus only gives him the next step. All he tells Saul at this point is, you get up and go into the city, and then I'll tell you what you must do. And I think God still works that way a lot of times in our lives. You know, we want God to lay out the whole plan. God, what's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Please just show it to me. And I think so often he only gives us the next step, and he wants us to step out in obedience, step out in faith. And when we take that step, then he'll show us the next step. See, I think for most of us, if we knew the whole plan, then how often would we check in with God? How often would we ask him for wisdom? How often would we seek his guidance if we already had all the instructions laid out before us? I think a lot of us wouldn't. So maybe God has asked you to do something, but he hasn't given you the whole plan yet. He's only given you one step, and you're nervous, you're afraid. You want to see the big picture. Well, I just would encourage you, take the step of whatever you know he has called you to do. Take that step of faith, and when you get there, then he'll reveal the next step. So again, that's Acts chapter 9. Thanks so much for all your support, guys. The next video I'll post is going to be my over-the-counter elk tag. My over-the-counter deer tag starts in the morning, and I'm excited. We finally got some cooler weather. We had a little cold front that came through. I can see snow on the tops of the mountains. Now, there won't be snow where I'm hunting, but at least we got a break in the weather. It has been so hot here. The hottest October I think I ever remember, as long as I've lived in Utah. So looking forward to what tomorrow might bring. Thanks so much. God bless you guys. We'll see you the next time we're out on the mountain.